Stereotyping is the practice of identifying a person or group by a single trait or as a member of a certain group instead of as an individual. Here's an example of stereotyping told by Rick Adams.
A blonde walks up to a river, says, "Man, I wish I was 5 times smarter. I could figure out how to get across this river." Bam! Turns into a brunette, swims across. Another blonde walks up to the river, says, "Man, I wish I was 100 times smarter. I could figure out how to get across this river." Bam! She turns into a man, gets in a boat, and rows her way across. A third blonde walks up to the river and says, "Man, I wish I was a Google times smarter. I could figure out how in the world I could get across this river." And then, bam! All her hair falls up and she struts across the bridge.
Job prestige is how a job is looked at in society. For example, in the United States, a doctor is a more prestigious job than a janitor.
Language is the medium of communication through words, symbols, numbers, characters, or nonverbal cues.
Values are strongly held concepts that are present in a culture. Values are connected to powerful emotions and vary from country to country.
Communication is the transmitting, receiving, and processing of information.
Holidays differ all over the world. There are religious holidays and secular holidays.
Culture is a set of beliefs, customs, and attitudes of a distinct group of people. It is important to understand, prepare for, and adjust to, and participate in other cultures. There are many different cultures in the United States, as shown here. Social institutions are the organizations that represent the patterns of activity that express the culture of a country. An example of this are religious organizations and churches. Gender differentiation is high in some cultures, meaning the man is more dominant in society. In the United States, gender differentiation is low and men and women are seen as equals. The norm in some other cultures is that the woman walks 2 steps behind the man. This is because she isn't seen as his equal.
The true reason is so the blonde doesn't get lost.
Values are strongly held concepts that are present in a culture. Folkways and mores are cultural customs that dictate how people act socially. Norms are social rules that affect behaviors and actions and represent cultural value. This may be how close you stand to someone while talking or the amount of eye contact you make. An expatriate is a person who relocates in a foreign country to live and or conduct business.
Drop it low, girl, drop it low.
They experience other cultures while they travel.
Drop it low, girl, drop it low, girl, drop it low, girl, drop it low.
Ethnocentrism is the emotional attitude that one's own race, nation, or culture is superior to all others. Culture shock is a reaction that newcomers to a culture may experience. Cultural bias is a preconceived attitude of favoring or disliking a particular culture. Americans have been biased against the Native Americans and the Japanese during World War II. Cultural baggage is a set of cultural attitudes that include the beliefs, values, and assumptions that people carry with them throughout life. In America, an example of proper appearance would be a button-up shirt and a vest for a business setting. This would not be proper for a business setting, but it would be being with friends in an informal setting.
For a woman in Ecuador, a cotton shirt with embroidery would be acceptable in the workplace.
This would be appropriate for a woman in America. Giving gifts is an important part of international business because it shows you know the culture as well as being good manners. Slang is informal speech used on the street or in recreational settings.
Action.
I wish we didn't have to do so much work.
This is ridiculous here. I got some friends that says I don't have to do this.
Son, you just screwed up twice. Number one, you implied I'd take a bribe. And number two, you said I'm cheap.